World Psoriasis Day is just around the corner.
So इस साल का थीम है फैमिली.
Recognizing how psoriasis doesn't just affect the individuals but their loved ones too. When I was first diagnosed at the age of 9, I told my friends that I just have a really bad case of allergy. A year later, on my 10th birthday celebration, my parents made a goodie bag and which contained a letter that we wrote saying that I'm sorry, I've actually been lying, I don't have a really bad case of allergy, I actually have psoriasis, and then proceeded to explain what it is. That story speaks volumes at how incredible my parents are. They always fought to create a safe space around me, an environment that understood well what is psoriasis and deeply know that this is not something they have to be afraid of. Oh, it was hard on them to see their daughter living day in and day out in pain, isolating herself, having her life taken away just like that, having her childhood taken away from her just like that. Countless of times I heard my mom would say that she really wishes to be able to take away this pain and make it hers. There's this one picture from when I was young. I had psoriasis all over my body. I was playing with a camera and I took a picture of myself with it and smile. And my dad tears up each time he sees the picture. The first time we discovered this picture, he told me that I don't know how you can take a picture like this with a smile.
There's a lot of uncertainty and very little information with regards to psoriasis and pregnancy and family planning and all that. So for me, the fear of the flares coming back again and me having to go off medication, and will the medication affect my baby during breastfeeding? Those are some of the things that were really rife in my mind when I was having children. And I really didn't know. For me, it was a step of courage. Like when I decided to have children, I was so confused. I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know who to ask. Nobody had these answers. So those are some of the major things that affected my family planning and getting children. Because for one, your skin can go from bad to worse. I didn't know whether there was medication that I could take while breastfeeding or during pregnancy. Those are the major things that affected my decision in having children, rather in childbearing.
My name is Roy and we are going to talk about intimacy and relationship today. When it comes to intimacy, it really affects this section of my life when I have psoriasis. What I realized about intimacy is that the challenges with intimacy is that I have a lot of fear and also shame in having psoriasis. A huge reason of what makes us feel shameful and also fearful being around people is actually our flakes. We are flaking all the time, no matter where we go, right? Every corner of the house, including the tables, on the bed, and everywhere you can see all the flakes all over. And when we clean that, when we see that flakes in front of us, it makes us feel a lot of negative things about ourselves. When it comes to living in close proximity with someone who is my husband, in the beginning of our relationship, it has caused a lot of anxiety and also a lot of fear around being close to him, because I was afraid that he wouldn't understand, and for sure that I was very afraid of getting rejection from him. But at the same time, I was even more afraid to get rejection from his family, because we all want approval from the people that we love and care about, right? So in the beginning of our relationship, I was always very anxious, very fearful, and also very vigilant, and sometimes I would choose to also cover up in front of his family once or twice. But with time, it made me realize that actually all these things, it doesn't bother him at all. And I think with time, I've also become more comfortable with just being myself in front of him, with him and around him. And I think that really, really helps.
अगर देखा जाए तो कि एक आम बीमारी से डर्मेटोलॉजी की बीमारी, जो भी स्किन की बीमारियाँ, वो पाकिस्तान में उनका इलाज बहुत महंगा है. It's quite expensive to afford the medications of skin diseases. तो हमको काफ़ी हमारा जो हाउस बजट है, मंथली बजट है, वो हमें थोड़ा अल्टरनेट करना पड़ता था, उसको थोड़ा हमें अमेंड करना पड़ता था ताकि हम मेरी डॉक्टर्स के विजिट्स को और भी उसको मेडिसिन को हम कोप कर सकें, मिल सकें। और तब तो काफ़ी एक सिर्फ मेरे बाबा काम करते थे और हम सब स्टूडेंट्स थे, तो काफ़ी एक मुश्किल सा वक्त गुजरा। एक बड़ा फ़र्क करता है एक आपके इकोनॉमिक्स पे, आपकी लाइफ स्टाइल पे एक बड़ा फ़र्क करता है।
I used to be in my 20s and 30s. I was very sporty. I played hockey, I played rugby, I'd done cycling, and even though I can jump on a bike now and just about kick out sort of 30 to 50 miles in a lot of pain and recovery afterwards, I can't do team sports anymore, and I've never really replaced that. You know, my son acts as a really good distraction, and I get to do things with him. But a 5-year-old being your social life isn't healthy, and I know it's not healthy. He loves it. He gets lots of attention.
During interview processes, like when questions being asked, so what do you expect from this company, I would usually tell them that, well, I live with an autoimmune condition called psoriasis. It looks like red scaly patches and would flake. So I expect to be in an environment that would accept me and be understanding about it with no judgment. And on top of it, when I do flare-ups from these autoimmune conditions, I might need to take some sick leaves or need my working hours to be more flexible. But rest assured, also from my side, that I will still be responsible for my job and then make sure that everything is done on time, so it doesn't cause the company some disadvantages. But yeah, and I've been incredibly fortunate that in each of the workplaces that I have been working on, they have always been very understanding and accommodating around it. Probably one response that threw me off a little bit, not in a harmful way, it's just wasn't that much of an expected. I guess it's more towards from out of curiosity, was that, will the flakes bother other people around you in the office? And I told him no, and if it gets a lot, I would also be conscious enough to clean it up myself. But I know for a lot of people out there, especially we're talking about Indonesia back home, that the workplace isn't always as accommodating or as understanding, especially the more traditional workplaces. From being discriminated against for being sick, like you living with a chronic illness, to being judged out of fear of it being contagious. It just creates a lot of layers of complexity of getting a job. Moreover, the need to stay for a couple of days to get the injections that is covered by the government healthcare insurance. This for sure is a way to make ones really struggle to keep one's job.
And the impact is huge. My wife nowadays has to do the bulk of the cleaning. I used to love doing housework. It was my thing. On a Saturday morning, I'd put music on and I'd blitz the housework all in one go. I was a bit of a workout sort of thing, and I felt therapeutically sort of mentally refreshed by doing that at the end of a long week, and then it meant that I could move on. You know, I could just move on and enjoy my weekend. So, you know, now if me and my son want to do an activity together, often my wife has to go in behind us and clear up, and while she's doing that, we're cuddling and watching a film or playing or doing something fun, and that all feels very unfair, but it's kind of the reality of our world now. And the same goes for cooking. You know, my wife has to do most of the cooking, if not all of the cooking. I used to love cooking, but we have a hard floor, and I've tried so many different footwear, so many different thicknesses of socks. I cannot stand on that hard kitchen floor for more than 10-15 minutes without being in a lot of pain. And that's taken that away from me. You know, I used to really be proud of like experimenting and playing with, you know, recipes and impressing people, or doing the whole Christmas thing, you know, where I'd entertain and cook roasts for families and stuff. And that exhausts me now, and also puts me into a lot of discomfort.
Help us raise awareness by liking and sharing our story.